3, 2, 1.
Have a little faith in me. Have a little faith in me. I feel like that's what the universe is singing to all of us. I know it's telling me that every once in a while in some of the things in my life. Have a little faith in me. Lately, I've been studying the history and usage of prayer for my doctorate dissertation, and that's what inspired today's talk title, which is Let's Have a Treat. Let's have a treat. Now, some of you may have taken my workshop of the same name and will recognize what I'm talking about. Others may recognize it because they've been in this teaching. But however you are recognizing that idea, if your declarations haven't demonstrated like you thought, or better than you thought, or at all, then take this talk as a needed review, because I am. I'm taking my own talk as a needed review. Now, by treat, in the title, let's have a treat. By treat, I mean both the idea of a goodie into your life, whatever that is, whether it's a thing or an idea, peace of mind, or having more faith in my life, that's a goodie. And I also mean by the word treat as this definition of spiritual mind treatment. And the definition is the art and act, time and process and method and science of consciously changing and inducing thought within our subconscious belief system for the purpose of demonstrating a new idea into our experience. Now, you may have heard me or others make a call to treat. Okay, let's treat. Let's have a treatment. Let's treat together. Spiritual mind treatment is what that call is for. To pray, it's a form of prayer, by realigning our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs to the ideas that we express, for instance, in our statements of principles, which are, again, reveal the divinity in you, vibrate at the speed of the divine, and bust through, soar, and zoom into the greatest expression of your life. That's what everything is about. That's why we're here. That's where our happiness comes from, where our fulfillment of love and health and creativity and prosperity and all the phases and all the parts and all the spaces of our lives, all the times, all the nooks and crannies of our lives. That's why we're here, to reveal the divinity that is within ourselves, to vibrate at the speed of the divine in everything we think, feel, and do, and to bust through and soar and zoom anything, good, bad, or indifferent, to the next step, to the next upgrade, to the greatest happiness that we've had in that part of our lives. Dr. Holmes continues in his definition of treatment, and Dr. Holmes, Ernest Holmes, is the one who put together what is called the 5-step spiritual mind treatment, the 5-step affirmative prayer. But he continued with these words, and they're very important. We are surrounded, he said, by a creative medium which responds to us through a law of correspondence, a law of correspondence. So treatment is clearing the thought of negation, of doubt and fear, and causing it to perceive the ever-presence of God, or whatever you want to call that power. We're surrounded by this creative medium. It wants to create with and for and as us. And there's this law, this spiritual law of correspondence, or law of attraction, some people call it. That's the most popular description of the law or title of the law, but it's a law of correspondence in that it is corresponding, it is reflecting that which we believe into our experiences. We perceive, we become aware of. When we become aware of, then we can awaken to. And when we awaken to something, then we can embody it. And that's what this month is all about, embodying this idea, embodying our faith, And if you don't like that word faith, you can change that word too. Embodying our belief, embodying our connection and our communion with this power that is within us. It's the power of creation. Now, I know our minds are full of clutter, the clutter of memories, good and not so good, the clutter of opinions and judgments. Some are wise, some are not so wise, the clutter of noise, the clutter and noise, actually, of lies and decisions that we've made, both traumatic, disturbing, and other ways. That this noise that we have in our head about our history, our past decisions, and the biases we've accepted, which are usually not good. A bias usually is not necessarily a good thing, but it can be a good thing. Anyway, all these clutters and biases, they get in the way. They get in the way of the new shiny trinket you're eyeing. They get in the way of the reigniting your relationship or having love in your life at all. They get in the way of a bigger audience for your business or whatever you're expressing yourself with. They get in the way of just fill in the blank. But these clutters, these biases are not signs of a lost battle. We have to remember that. That is part of faith. That is part of belief. It's not a lost battle. And these things that get in our way, these ideas, these histories, these biases that are cluttering up our minds, they're not powered by some evil power. There's no such thing. There's no such power. They're not the result either of being left alone, like we're left alone in the universe and on this planet and in this life. That's not true. We're not left alone by the universe with no potential or tools or influence. We have potential, always. We have the tools. They're always there to just grasp on or find out or re-find out if you have forgotten them for some reason. And we have the influence because that is our power in the life, is influencing everything we think, feel, and do. See, you've been left alone to discover your real nature. Each and every one of us has been left alone to discover our real nature. Not left alone as in by yourself, but left alone as in nobody's there, pushing and shoving. The universe is not there to push and shove, although occasionally it might knock on your door and remind you of something, but you're not left alone without the ability to discover your real nature. That as an individual, you may consciously unite with the law of life in the presence of good. We just need to keep knocking on that doorway of our consciousness until every no becomes a yes, and every negation an affirmation, and every fear that we have a faith. You cannot fail if you remain steadfast. Steadfast. And finally, the fetters of bondage. The bondage of this stuff, this old stuff, this lack and limitation stuff, whatever it looks like, that's going to drop from you. You'll walk out of this self-imposed prison, because it is a self-imposed prison, only to discover that the door that is right there was never really locked. And the window over here was not actually barred. You were bound merely by the chains of unbelief. The chains of unbelief. If you read this thing called You, this book that I and Reverend Gary constantly bring out, you'll read something similar to what I just said. So how do we get out of these chains of unbelief? Well, Patricia Diane Cotter-Robles wrote a book called Raising Consciousness, The Shift from Separation to Oneness. And she said, trying to change physical conditions without changing my consciousness is like trying to change the reflection in a mirror without changing the object causing the reflection. Your mind, your belief, your consciousness is that object that is causing the reflection of experiences that are happening in your life. When we change our consciousness, we change the reflection we are giving. And when we change the reflection we are giving, then the law of correspondence, the law of attraction, the law of cause and effects brings forth into your experiences that change, that new reflection. And how do we do that? We treat the mind, and thus the subconscious, and thus the belief system. Now, having a treat, and remember, that's what we're doing this week. Let's have a treat. Having a treat has specific purposes. Treatment, treatment unclogs and frees your mind. It's like a roto-rooter of mental clarity and spiritual maturity. But instead of removing tree roots and other debris, it eliminates the BS out of your belief system, the BS out of your BS. And instead of cleaning your drain, it cleans your brain. It cleans your subconscious. Instead of snaking your pipes and other plumbing gripes, it snakes through your mental aches and pains to leave you wide awake, to open yourself up so that you can embody the truth. You know, it said people are attracted to this teaching and this form of prayer that I'm talking about today because it gives hope. It gives people hope of manifesting conditions and stuff and ideas and peace of mind, et cetera, into our lives, into our material lives and into our mental lives. Well, that's great. I want you to have hope. But as soon as you have hope, I want you to lose it to the point of remembering that it has nothing to do with affirmative prayer and treatment. Because affirmative prayer and treatment is actually for the purpose of freeing us from everything, and that includes hope. Hope is here, and we want to jump to here and even there. So we want to use this affirmative prayer, this treatment, to free ourselves from our limited ideas and beliefs, not just to get stuff, obviously. It's not here. It's not an action, a spiritual practice just to get stuff, things. It's to get everything and anything. Treatment provides a pause to remember who we are and to commune with our consciousness, our own consciousness, and thus of the divine, so that we vibrate at the speed of the divine. John O'Donohue wrote in a poem called Rebel Thriver, "Let there be an opening into the quiet that lies beneath the chaos, where you find the peace you did not think possible and see what shimmers within the storm." Oh, see what shimmers within the storm. The faith. So first, let's just go through the 5 steps. You ready? First, let's recognize that God is the all of all. And again, you don't have to call it God. You can call it it. You can call it Phil. God doesn't care what you call it. You can call it energy, the Big Bang. Just call it. Just recognize that there's this energy, this frequency of all creation, that it's here right now. You can call it chi, the life force, the Bhagavan, whatever. Just recognize that energy is there. That energy that you're vibrating from. Feel it, see it, know it. It's all around you. Then unify yourself with that power, whatever you're going to call it, unify yourself, because you and that power are one already. So you might as well give in to that truth. It acts through you, as you, in you, and in all life, in these beautiful flowers. So revel in it. It's not going to go away, which is fabulous. So revel in this power, revel in this vibration, revel in this revelation of divine energy, creation that is within you. You are made of that star stuff. Thirdly, accept and affirm that which you are deciding to declare and reveal in this treatment. Decide, accept, affirm. It's happening right now. Speak as if it's happening right now. Confirm it with clarity and specificity. Focus on what you want. See, since you've already established and know that you're part of the big universal power thing, you can speak your word without doubt or reservation that the good you desire to experience is now taking form. There's nothing in your way. When you decide to have a treat, your awareness begins to shift. And you become aware of what is actually true in this universe. And you use this process we're talking about to substitute what was happening in your mind before to what you believe now. Because that's all that is important, what you believe right now. And you focus on those feelings and you focus on the senses that occur as you are having this idea or thing in your life. What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it sound like? What does it tactily feel like? See, prayer, affirmative prayer, spiritual mind treatment frees us from the wrong thinking or ideas of the past. That's what you're doing. You're negating all that by focusing on what it is you want. See, the universe has your back. You don't have to have any doubt about that. The universe has your back, so you know your desire is complete as you speak it. And then next, you have appreciation and gratitude for this acceptance. So having clearly stated and affirmed what you wanted to experience, what you are revealing in your life, it's time to do what you always do when you have accepted a treat. Give thanks. The good you desire is yours right now, so accept it and give thanks. Give appreciation for this good that's right here and now in your life. Simple. I got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank me. Not me, Jay, unless I'm talking about myself, but yourself. And then finally, just release the words, release the thoughts, release the feelings, release the acceptance, and affirm your good is already accomplished. It's done. You spoke your word. Your word is powerful. Thoughts are prayers. When you release your prayer to the activity of the universal law of mind, you completely free yourself of any concern. The only thing you would maybe have to treat about later is your concern that you weren't strong enough. You weren't faith. You didn't have enough faith, or you didn't believe it enough. Okay, then go back. Go back later and know for yourself that there is one mind, one power. I am part of that one mind, one power. And right now, I am revealing unto myself the faith that I think I don't quite have. So I am going to step in it. I'm going to wash myself with it. I'm going to drench myself with faith because I know the truth. And my knowing of the truth outweighs, overwhelms the supposed facts of my having a little bit less faith than maybe I think I should. And you will slowly or quickly, depending on your consciousness, negate that lack of faith. And thus tell the universe, inform the universe what it is. What it is. And so that you will experience that in your life. I let go and I let God and I release this truth in total belief that it is done. That's how you end it. You let go and you let God or the universe or that creative energy or the creative medium or whatever you want to call it, the law, I let it do its stuff. I've done my work. Now you do your work wherever you are and get it into my factual body of living. Fulfill it right now because I have fulfilled it in my heart, in my mind, in my gut, in every pore and cell of my body. So get to it, law. When we use this incredible tool to treat our minds, freeing us and leading into the freedom that is our birthright, for God's sake, we can break the chains of unbelief, disbelief, and disapproving logic. You ever have that? Disapproving logic? Well, that's not logical. That whole as is stuff, this whole prayer stuff, that's not logical. It's nice. It's sweet. Wrong. That's monkey mind. That's monkey mind coming in going, okay, I'm going to get you off the hook of this faith thing by saying, well, logically, blah, 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 blah. I've done so many talks, and you can go find them, about what people logically said about this, that, or the other, and were proved wrong. And this is something that has been happening since day one. People who believe or have this disapproving logic, well, that's what shows up in their life, isn't it? That disapproving logic, that doubting Thomas stuff. So, okay, that's going to show up. We've been taught stupid things all our lives about how to manifest, how to demonstrate, how to change the experiences in our life. So what do? When this doubting Thomas junk shows up? Tell it to shut up. That's what I do. Sometimes I'm not so rude, but I tell it to shut up. I get tough. I get clear. I get connected. And when I do that, then I know I can have a treat, because I'm going to manifest that treat, because I have declared and revealed that treat in my life. So join me. Come on. Come on. Let's have a treat. Thanks so much. Namaste.